Hi everyone, this is Sarah Petty and I want to spend a minute to show you how to use our holiday card templates. These have very cool clipping masks, and I know sometimes people get a little scared by looking at them and saying, oh, I don't know how to use this. But I thought if I could show you, maybe you would find that it's really very simple to use and you can customize things much more easily than you thought. So if you get frustrated and I lose you at any point, you can pause this or rewind and watch it again. And maybe if you do it with me after a few times, it will become very second nature to you. So open this document that's called joyfront.psd. And I also have 3 images. And if you don't have this exact document, that's fine. You can pick a different one or you can simply watch me. But I want to put 3 different images into these black boxes. So these black boxes are set up so that I can pull the image in and move it around, whereas I don't have to crop an image the exact size and pull it in there. So what I want to do, I want to first put an image here. So this is the top place image here. This is this box. So I've got it highlighted where it says image clip 1. I am going to go to my image and I will just simply drag it and drop it right there. So now you can see the image instead of a black box. So all you need to do then is move it around. Now, if the image is too big, you want to make it smaller, which is with the transform command. Now, I highly recommend if you don't know your commands, you should learn them. This is where you can go up and you can do edit, free transform. And as you can see, because I'm using a Mac, Apple T is the command. So I won't go up here and do this. I will simply hit Apple T and it will give me this bounding box. Then all I need to do is hold the shift key down to constrain the proportions. If I don't hold the shift key down, it will be all crazy like this and make her all out of, whack. So I can hit Apple Z, which is undo, and I can bring her back to where she was. Okay, so I'm going to do Apple T. Hold down the shift key and size her to whatever proportion and whatever size I want. Again, constraining the proportions the whole time. Double click and it's done. Then I will go to the second image, which is here, image clip 2. And I will go over and I will pick my second child, drag my second child onto there. As you can see, he is right there. And I will hit Apple T. And if your PC, maybe Command T, I'm not sure, you'll have to look it up on your menu. And I will, again, hold down the Shift key and resize his little face to fit in my box. Double click. And then for this one, click here so it shows me where I am. Image clip 3. I go over here, I click on her, and I drag it right into the box. See how easy that was? Apple T, hold down Shift. And then I'm just clicking and dragging on the image. And hopefully you've done this before, but if you're newer to Photoshop, I know it can be frustrating. So if it messes up, you can always Apple Z and redo. So look, boom, there I am. I have a card. Now, something else let me explain. There's a difference between type that is a font and rasterized type. As you can see, this type here has been rasterized. And what that means is it's turned into a graphic element. So you cannot manipulate these fonts. They're just a flat piece of graphic element. And let me show you how to change the colors on that. Okay, so you go to this layer, Joy Elements, or you can click on it. And if you have auto select layer, it will automatically select this layer for you. And then say you want to customize the color. You go to your eyedropper and you pick this green and see how it changes your box. And then you're on the proper layer and you can go to Edit Fill. Now what that's going to do, if I hit Preserve Transparency, it will fill everything that you see. So watch. It makes the entire layer that green. How cool is that? Now say you want each section a different color. What you could do that's kind of fun is you can use your history palette. So you go over here to your history brush, okay, history brush tool, and then you click here where it says history. And what I'm doing now is I can paint from the palette layer that was before I changed the color. So say I want to make this just a blue. I'm just using the history brush to paint back what things looked like before I changed the color. So maybe I want this to be joy. So I can go in here and I can change the color. Something else I can do to change one little element is I can grab the lasso tool. Do you see this tool right here? And I can highlight one area. So say I want to draw around this and I want to change the color of just that. I can do edit. Oops, let's change the color first. Let's make that pink. Edit, fill, and as you notice, I'm still on that same layer. Preserve transparency. Okay, and it filled it. Okay, now before you do anything else, you want to deselect this, or anything else you do will not be applied. So that's Apple D, deselect. Then something else you can do while you're on that layer, and this is another way you can change color, is image, adjust, color balance, or actually hue saturation. Okay, so we can play with the hue and change our colors this way. Ooh, so say you go, oh, I really love this blue-purple color, but I only want it on this joy box. I can go back in the history palette to change everything back, and then I go forward with my history brush, and then I can go over to my history brush and just paint that purple color. How cool is that? So there are several cool ways that you can change all of these colors. So if you missed any of those and you want to see them again, go back and watch that again. See, here I am back in the history state. So I'm painting in this blue-purple color anywhere I want. So you can select a color from the clothing or the background of your subjects for color harmony, or you can look for a complementary color, or you can just play all day long and create custom colors. If you look at the back of this card, you will notice that these are still fonts. So if you notice here, I can actually click on them and it will allow me to change the words, change the family's name, whatever. Now you notice I have a font here, or I'm sorry, I have an error message here. It says editing or rendering the text layer, wishing you a joyous Christmas and a happy new year, will cause its layout to change. Continue. And I want to hit OK. And that's probably because I do not have that font. See how the font went away? My computer does not have the font that this was designed in. So I can go and I can choose any font I like. Because we don't own these fonts, we cannot resell most fonts. So if you like the name of it, when it tells you up here, you can Google it and try to buy it. Or what many people don't know is when you highlight the font like this, and then you go up here and highlight the name, you can cycle through the fonts. So if you hit your down arrow, you can simply keep going through. Oops, it wanted to stop on me. You can down arrow and you can see what your greeting looks like set in different fonts. How fun is that? And then, of course, if you open your character palette, you can adjust the leading and the kerning and the spacing if you open the paragraph palette. So, for example, if you wanted this all aligned in a different way, you could choose your different alignment, left aligned, right aligned, proportionately aligned. And then also you can condense it, you can expand it, you can make it taller. Watch as I make it taller. And so that's what takes average design and takes it to that next level. So we try rarely to simply use a font and just boom, be done with it. We want to always be manipulating that font and spreading out the leading and the kerning. Same thing with this palette. If you highlight it here and you highlight it here, you can use your up and down arrow until you visually like what you see. And say we like those top two lines, but these are still too far apart. We can go in and highlight those and we can adjust the leading and the kerning. So then we have our own look and feel. And maybe we want this line to be really spread out, to make everything really boxy. Wow, that's a little crazy. But we can do that, and we can also spread out the spacing. So we can emphasize our words without having to combine 1,000 different fonts. Isn't that fun? So you can now do things very custom using simple font combinations and techniques that have been at your disposal all this time. So again, this is a font. This looks like a font, but it's rasterized. It's all in a flattened layer, and you can't manipulate it. So if I try to click on it, nothing will happen. Okay? So I hope this helped, and I hope you use these ideas and create some really amazing holiday card designs.